Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Golden Bachelor Mel Owens sued NFL over drug abuse. ABC announced the next Golden Bachelor this week. Instead of choosing someone from Jones' Golden Bachelorette season, the network tapped Mel Owens to lead season 2. He's a former NFL linebacker who once sued the league amid drug abuse allegations. Keep reading to find out more about his compelling background. Golden Bachelor star is divorced. The first season of The Golden Bachelor featured Jerry Turner, a widower who was looking for love after his wife of 43 years in 2017. He often talked about their love story on the show. Jerry bonded with several contestants who had also lost spouses, including future Final Rose winner Theresa Nist. There are several big changes for the second season of Golden Bachelor. The network chose someone who doesn't have ties with the franchise. They also picked someone younger than Jerry Turner. Additionally, Mel Owens, 66, is divorced, not a widow. Not much is known about his ex-wife or two sons yet. According to SUED, the former couple divorced in 2020. Mel Owens also had a very different career path from retired restaurateur Jerry Turner. His pro football career was cut short by injury. Mel Owens played college football at the University of Michigan. He was a first-round draft pick by the Los Angeles Rams in 1981. Unlike other Bachelor Nation stars who played on practice teams, Mel Owens saw real game time. He played 9 seasons for the Rams. During his career, he had 453 tackles and 4 interceptions. Unfortunately, his NFL career was cut short. He retired in 1989 after an ankle injury sidelined him. Mel Owens had a few business side hustles during his time in the NFL. He reportedly owned a fashion line and a restaurant reservation hotline long before the Opentable app existed. He moved to California after leaving the NFL. His career path took an interesting turn. He worked as a financial advisor with Merrill Lynch before going back to school to obtain a law degree. After getting his law degree, Mel Owens co-founded the Nemini, Byrne, and Owens law firm in Laguna Hills, California. His area of specialty is sports injuries, workers' compensation, and disability benefits. Mel Owens sued NFL over drug abuse. In 2014, Mel Owens was part of a class action suit suing the NFL over drug abuse in the league. However, he wasn't a plaintiff. The former linebacker was among the lawyers working the case. An interview with the LA Times during the case focused on a surprise DEA inspection of 3 visiting football teams in California. Mel Owens was asked by the outlet if he thought the inspections were related to the class action suit, and he said yes. The class action lawsuit included over 1,000 players alleging mishandling and dispensing of various painkillers and prescription drugs by team doctors. The allegations weren't a surprise to the former Los Angeles Rams player. It's been going on for decades. Even when I played, it was happening the way it was described, he told the Times. The courts eventually sided with the NFL and dismissed the class action suit in 2019. Before charming America with his golden smile and suave confidence on The Golden Bachelor, Mel Owens was fighting a very different battle. One not for roses, but for justice. Long before he handed out roses and sweet nothings, Owens was suiting up as a linebacker in the NFL, tackling opponents on the field while quietly enduring a storm of pain behind the scenes. What many fans of The Golden Bachelor may not know is that Mel Owens once stood up against one of the most powerful institutions in sports. In a landmark move that sent shockwaves through the league, he joined a class action lawsuit that accused the NFL of widespread, systematic painkiller abuse. Yes, the same Mel Owens who now melts hearts with his polished suits and emotional vulnerability once took on the behemoth that is professional football. It wasn't for money or attention. It was for his health, his dignity, and for the hundreds of former players who, like him, were living with the long-term consequences of a game that asked everything of their bodies and gave them little protection in return. Let's rewind. Mel Owens, before he was a fan-favorite bachelor, was a formidable linebacker for the Los Angeles Rams in the 1980s. With a towering frame and explosive energy, he made his presence known on the gridiron. But beneath the pads and bravado was a man quietly coping with injuries that would haunt him long after his retirement. Like many players of his era, Owens was often given painkillers to keep him on the field. Toradol, Percocet, Vicodin. Pills were handed out like candy, sometimes without a full explanation, always with the expectation to walk it off and be tough. No one talked about long-term health. It was about the next down, the next tackle, the next win. Years later, Owens joined a class action lawsuit against the NFL that accused the league of fostering a culture of drug misuse. According to the suit, the NFL was complicit in allowing, if not encouraging, teams to pump players full of pain-numbing drugs with little regard for their safety or the long-term consequences. Owens and dozens of former players alleged that they were never fully warned about the addictive nature of these drugs or their potential to cause permanent damage. For Mel, it wasn't just about his own story. He was standing up for teammates who'd lost everything: health, relationships, even their lives, to addiction and chronic illness. Some couldn't walk without pain. Some couldn't sleep without medication. Some had lost their ability to live independently. Owens, who became an attorney after retiring from football, used his voice and legal knowledge to amplify the message: football players aren't disposable. And now here he is, decades later, vying for a second chance, not on the field, but in love. It's a strange and beautiful full-circle moment, really. Viewers of The Golden Bachelor see Mel as a strong yet tender suitor, full of wisdom and humor, quietly confident yet deeply introspective. But layered beneath that charisma is the strength of a man who has fought hard battles, on the field, in the courtroom, and inside his own body. In one recent episode, Mel opened up to Joan Vassos during a lakeside date. The moment was quiet, almost too quiet for primetime reality TV, but those who listened closely heard the beating heart of a survivor. "I spent so many years pretending pain didn't exist," he said. "And I don't mean just physical pain. Emotional pain, too. We're trained to hide it. But now, I just want someone who gets it." Joan, touched by the confession, reached out and held his hand. The two sat in silence, letting the truth linger like fog over the water. That's the new Mel Owens. Not just the ex-NFL star, not just the lawyer, but a man willing to feel, to be seen, to start over. What's remarkable is that his lawsuit against the NFL didn't harden him. It strengthened his sense of compassion. Since retiring from both football and active law, Mel has spent time advocating for player safety reforms and mentoring young athletes. He's used his platform to talk about healing, not just from injuries, but from toxic masculinity, addiction, and neglect. He's not the loudest contestant in the mansion, but he might be the one with the deepest story. There's a quiet resilience in his eyes, a steadiness. And that resonates with Joan, a widow herself who's lived through storms of her own. So when fans wonder why Mel made it past week 3, or why he keeps pulling ahead of the flashier, younger-seeming bachelors, it's because Joan sees what many others do now. Mel Owens is the real deal. Not just charming, not just smooth, but someone who's been through fire and still came out kind. It's easy to watch The Golden Bachelor and focus on the roses, the drama, the date cards. But it's men like Mel who remind us why the show matters. Because real love, the kind worth waiting for, often grows from deep roots of perseverance. Will Mel win Joan's heart in the end? That remains to be seen. But even if he doesn't, his journey on the show has already given him a powerful platform. One where former football players turned reluctant romantics can show that vulnerability is strength, that speaking out is heroic, that healing is possible, even under the golden lights of late-life love. And who knows? If Mel does get that final rose, he might just be the first Golden Bachelor to turn a reality TV win into a national campaign for player health reform. Now that would be a touchdown.